Okay, so here we are on Akalon Wastes, spawning in the bottom right position as our red Terran player. He's, I guess a little bit more on the unknown side, but he is up one game in this series so far. Give it up for NoName. And spawning in the top left position as our yellow Zerg player. He's going to need to kick things up a notch to come back in this series right now. It is Karate Esports Club's Vortix.
Yeah, Vortix is not going to be happy with himself if he goes down to the loser match. And if he does end up going to the loser match, he's going to play against the loser of Tails versus Soke. Of course, both Protoss players. That's the match that we will be casting next. And the winner of this series might be NoName with a 2-0 series, who, of course, will be playing against the winner of that next series, Soke versus Tails.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point to bring up, though. The winner of this does have to play the winner of our next match. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit more scared of the players coming up in our next match. Sake and Tails, some really, really, really well-known Protoss players. Of course, Tails, the Korean Protoss, and Sake, one of the Korean killers. So these guys do have quite a bit of a challenge ahead of them once one of them wins this. But Vortix, he's going to shake things up in a more interesting way. He's going to go for a spawning pool at a pretty early timing. It doesn't look like it's a very aggressive timing, but I think he might be doing this to try to punish a command center first or an 11-11. NoName, he is going to go for the command center first, but he's building it on the high ground this game. A bit of a almost lucky decision on his part, and he shouldn't be vulnerable to any early Zergling aggression.
It is a bit of a smaller map. The rush distance is a little bit smaller than it is on Daybreak, so I kind of understand the decision on one side, but you're right, he's going to be very, very lucky that he has the command center on the high ground this time around and not on the low ground. 4 Zerglings are on the way. They would have wrecked his day, because by the time those 4 Zerglings would have been on the other side of the map near that command center, at best, we would have seen 1 Marine. And that is not enough.
No, not by any means at all. We'd have to see him pull a Marine King with a bunch of SCVs, try to ninja through them to save the command center at that point. But the Overlord is going to be coming up for Vortix pretty soon. He'll get to that ramp and realize, okay, I can't bust in, but you can still bring the Zerglings over, do a bit of damage to the paint job of the supply depots. You have a little bit of a observer lag here. But you're right, though. It is such a good decision for him to have put himself with a wall at the top of his main ramp. It does look like this guy might be dropping out. So, all right, back.
Goodbye, Micahs.
have a great day, sir. But he's actually going to lower his depot, and I hope he doesn't keep that lowered or try to move that command center down immediately. These Zerglings, these 4 Zerglings come in here and give him a very sour day. That Marine's actually rallied out as well. Here come the Zerglings for Vortix. NoName. Hope he's watching his ramp.
Well, Vortix definitely is watching. He's keeping his Overlord barely in range of that supply depot. You can see that it is lowered. Vortix hiding his Zerglings right now. NoName has no idea. Look at his vision. He hasn't scouted at all. Has no idea that the spawning pool is finished up, and doesn't know about those 4 Zerglings. He lifts the command center, and with only 1 Marine on the field, this could mean trouble. A second Marine is about to pop out, so he does need to pull a Marine King. Even pulls a Mule with the SCVs that he is pulling to deal with these 4 Zerglings.
Yeah, I really like that he also sent 1 Zergling over to the bunker to try to pick off the SV that was building that. He did manage to grab it, but he's not really following up with a lot of Zerglings. He's not going to go crazy aggressive to follow this at all, but one of the Marines down. He did manage to pick off that 1 SCV, and that's more than you would generally get in this scenario. He also delayed the reactor pretty significantly for NoName as well. He forced him to build a 3rd Marine, and now he's going to also have to finish that bunker up. He has to pull another SCV for that. At the same time, Lillian, he's got his Queens up. He's got his natural hatchery up, and he is just droning like no tomorrow.
Yeah, standard play. Actually, he's already on 2 gases. Wow. That's a little bit early here. Vortix already mining with 7 drones out of 2 gases right now. A little bit inefficient there. Is he going to do something really crazy with this gas? Are we going to see a quick Roach Warren? Are we going to see another Baneling Roach attack? We definitely could. He's keeping all his workers in the gas right now and is not showing any signs of a drone moving out to throw down a 3rd base yet.
Okay, this is very interesting. He does have 7 drones on the way, so he wants to saturate his natural expansion before he makes any plays. But what's more interesting to me is that he hasn't thrown out any tech buildings yet. So I feel like this could be another situation where he goes for the lair and then takes the third base. But he's actually going to go double evolution chambers this time. And I think this is a solid decision. He's playing a little bit more safe off of 2 bases because of what NoName did in the previous game, going for, skipping the third command center. The Overlord moves into the main base, though. He sees the command center. He knows, okay, you're not going to come in with any 2-base aggression like you did off of the last game. So I should be safe to take a third, and he is going to take that. And then he can get his 1-1 rolling along, get the lair moving, and like I said, this is going to look a little bit more like a standard macro game. Vortix is just taking an interesting roundabout way of getting there.
Yeah, a bit of a different approach than what we're used to seeing. I'm happy to see those evolution chambers, though. Last game he delayed them for far too long and definitely got very far behind because of it. The Hellions now going to be rolling into the third. Do you see the third is morphing in? So no crazy 2-base all-in is on the way. So that's going to make NoName feel really safe. He has his third command center, so could potentially be vulnerable to an attack as these Hellions are trying to micro to kill these 2 creep tumors. Are they going to get them? Get one.
Get one, not bad. I mean, it's 25 energy, right? It's a 15-second delay if you can manage to pick one off. Of course, since they're so close to each other, the creep will still advance forward. Those queens doing a solid job. Might need to bring some of those Hellions back for repairs, but he's going to tuck them behind his fresh ones. Might try to use the AoE of the Hellions to pick off the creep tumor, of course. Delaying that creep is so important, especially towards the later stages of the game. Units like Ultralisks, not quite as popular as Swarm Hosts, but we could see them against the tank play because NoName, literally, and like you brought up earlier, is he going to keep going for this? He's building tanks again.
Yeah, looks like he is going to play the same style as we've seen him do on Daybreak. That is so cool. On the other side of the map, we have the Baneling Nest about to finish up for Vortix. He's got a lot of Overlords on the way, which could indicate that he's getting ready to either make a defense or make a few offensive units just in case. His 1-1 is about to finish up. And what is he going to do with this lair? Are we going to see an Infestation Pit go down? Immediately to go towards Hive and maybe quick Ultras?
In all honesty, with the couple of Banelings he does have on the way, they're kind of in a defensive position, of course. He's not putting them towards his opponent's base. He's starting Baneling speed up. He's starting the Spire. I think we could see him try to go for a little bit of aggression to keep NoName more on his toes, at least about holding this third base. But I think if NoName gets this third base up with no problem whatsoever, Siege Tank Marine it's pretty strong versus Ling Muta Baneling, just because of the way that we've seen it play out in Wings of Liberty. You're right, though. Vortix should go for the Hive play if he wants to just completely bowl over the tanks. Both Ultralisks and Broodlords, either option, are very strong versus Siege Tanks. Even just Vipers to use Blinding Cloud or Abduct, since Siege Tanks are so immobile. But, well, +2 is now starting up for NoName Combat Shield as well. He's getting up a lot more infrastructure in his main base, a lot of reactors on these barracks. And I feel like this type of style is also very vulnerable to Ultralisks just because you don't have any infrastructure to get Marauders or anything like that.
You're right. There's not. He's got mostly reactors on all of his barracks right now. He's got 4 reactors on 4 of his barracks and only 1 tech lab going, of course, to get his combat shields and his stim out. Stim has finished up some time ago. Combat shields is now getting ready. Third base in position for NoName as we see the first mutas hit the production tab for Vortix on the other side of the map. Starting 2-2 really quickly right now. So this time around, he will be able to keep up with the upgrades of his opponent. Something that he wasn't able to do last game. And I want to point attention real quick, Nathanius, to his creep spread. It is looking really good. Those Hellions have not been able to prevent the creep spread from going down at all.
Yeah, and this is where things get really dicey because these Zerglings are going to have so much roaming space on the map, already taking a couple of nudges at these Hellions. And if he steps onto that creep, these Hellions are as good as dead. He needs to be very cautious about the way that he plays this out. With the Mutalisks coming onto the field as well, NoName has got to pull a couple of Marines out. Just try to take out a couple of creep tumors, jump into the medevac, and get out of there. But the Mutalisks are coming in to harass the third base now. Missile Turret might actually pick off one of them. Does a good amount of damage, but tried to focus down that refinery. Didn't actually get too much of anything. He's only got 2 SCV kills so far this game. Drilling Claws upgrade is coming in, though, for NoName. He's going to be able to burrow those Widow Mines super fast, and I like that he's gone for this early of the double factory to be able to pump out a lot of Widow Mines. And they're so important if you can control them properly versus very heavy Zergling compositions.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame on the other hand. I was really hoping that we could see that Wings of Liberty style of Terran versus Zerg with a Marine Siege Tank versus Muta Baneling. But we see NoName just making a few siege tanks, making sure that he is safe against any kind of attack that Vortix might throw at him, and then moving into the more standard Widow Mines as we see so many Terran players do in Heart of the Swarm. The Mutas now in the main base trying to do some damage. They might catch this medevac. No, they will not be able to catch this medevac. There aren't as many Marines here. The Mutas are trying to trade with these Marines, but now we see some Widow Mines come up. They're going to burrow, and that's going to scare the Mutas a lot.
Yeah, pretty solid defense there. He didn't lose too much. Supply is still very, very close, but now we finally have that hive on the way. And the thing is, before the hive comes onto the field, NoName can actually bring these siege tanks with him, or he could leave them behind to defend against any possible run-bys or, Baneling run-bys we've seen some players go for. At the same time, I would like to see Burrow against this heavy of a Marine composition. There's not really any Marauders. There's actually no Marauders on the field at all. It's just 54 Marines. But I don't actually think we have Burrow for the Zerg player. No, he's starting to scan forward, brings the Widow Mines, burrows them, trying to get a couple good hits, actually takes out a majority of the Banelings, and now the Zerglings, though, some Banelings from the back. A very good surround from Vortix, completely annihilating this Terran army early in, and this is a very bad position for NoName.
Yeah, NoName maybe a little bit too high on the Marine count and not enough Widow Mines. The Widow Mines are now buried. Are they going to detonate on any of the Mutas? No, they're not. They're going to hit mostly Zerglings and Banelings. Looks like NoName is going to be able to hold on to his natural on his third base for now. Behind this, we see Vortix making many more Zerglings, already back up to 77 Zerglings. Has Hive about to finish up. An Ultralisk switch or an Ultralisk follow-up would be very, very difficult for NoName to deal with, because like you said, he's got nothing but reactors. He's got nothing but Marine production. He isn't ready for any kind of Marauder production.
Yeah, and it's such a hard spot to be in, because when you don't go for any Marauder production in the early game, you find yourself in this awkward spot where he lost all of his Marines early. If he wants to deal with these Mutalisks, he's got to build a ton more, because the Mutalisk production is continuing for Vortix. He just added on about 7 more Mutalisks to this clump, and he's just going to push in right now. The Zerglings are coming in, the Banelings as well. There's one bunker. The wall, though, is still open, and I'm not sure NoName's going to be able to hold this off. He is going to be pressed forward. There are Widow Mines here. They can trade very well versus these units, but there's still so many Banelings. He's going to clean up the majority of these Marines. The medevac's doing what they can, but the Mutalisks here to support as well. And constant Lings now streaming across the field. It's going to be so rough to deal with this. NoName is sending a drop across the left side of the map, but I don't think that this is going to be in time to help bring this game back. Natural expansion completely obliterated. There's a drop hitting the fourth base of Vortix as well, but these drops are going to need to basically be full of Rambos if they want to be able to pull this back. SCVs in the third base are now under fire as well.
Yeah, no planetary fortress of any sorts there, so the Zerglings are having a field day with the SCVs present there. The drop at the fourth base actually done some decent damage, but the Mutas are going to come back to clean that up. The drop at the third base has also been cleaned up, so the economy for Vortix is back on track. No more medevac drops are out on the map for the moment. Apart from the few Marines that we have left in the natural, one medevac is trying to do some more damage at the third, is going to get intercepted by the Mutas. How many workers were killed in that engagement? 14 by NoName, 44 by Vortix.
Yeah, that's going to definitely be favoring one of our players more than the other. But the Zerglings are coming up to fight against these Marines now. And at this point, with how well those Zerglings are hugging the Marines, the Widow Mine is not going to do too much other than kill NoName's own forces. He's trying to fight against this. He is going to be able to deter the Mutalisks for now, since they are so clumped using those Widow Mines. But NoName's on 80 supply to 163. Vortix doubling him in that size. And, well, this is the worst feeling ever. You're like, maybe I can try to do something. No, the Ultralisks come out. And you know what? There's not a single Marauder, like I said. And these Marines, they're going to be dog chow. GG. Vortix takes game number 2. And we have a now tied series.